another homemade stash kit share for you today. So I have two of them, in fact. So I'm going to show you one of them in this video and then the other one in another video. So I stored these kits in these 2.5 gallon Ziploc bags. So yeah, so this is the second kit that I'll be showing you in the next video. And then spread out in front of me is my first kit. So for this kit, for these kits, to make these kits, I've set my some parameters for myself. So I had to use 3 pieces of A4 pattern paper. So what I mean by that is I had to choose at least 3 pieces from these folders here. So if you flip through here, I have a bunch of different patterns going through. So I just chose at least 3 for each of my kits. Sorry, just have to replay that. Okay, so I have 2 folders like that, so I had to choose at least 3. I had to choose one pre-made background. Now I set that parameter because have had a lot of backgrounds being piled up. So this is a homemade page protector that I made before I could get my hands on 12 by 12 page protectors. So in here I have some not white cardstock, some papers that I use a white side of for backgrounds. And then I also have some pre-made backgrounds here. And I've been having a lot that are stocking up in my stash. So I thought I'd try and get some used up. Then there's also something unusual, something I don't use. So it might not be unusual for everyone, but it's unusual for me. So sorry for that gap there. Okay, I also have this storage here. So there's 3 drawers. I'm not sure if you can see that. And in the second drawer, I have my unusual stuff. So I have some of these bags that I mostly use for storage. I have some bows, some clips, this thing here, envelopes, some sticky notes. I also have this tissue paper. And then in the third drawer, I have all my ribbon, which I also don't use. So I also included some ribbon in both of these kits. So I just wanted to show you that. And then I also have 2 pieces of cardstock. So if you saw my scrap room tour, one of the drawers in my closet is full of cardstock that I never use, so I thought I'd include some of that. So I said I had to include at least 2 pieces of cardstock. And then sequins. Now instead of sequins, I included these rhinestones here, which are the same thing for me. Because what I mean by sequins is these sort of gem looking things. So basically they're the same thing, but they're different sizes. So I'm just including those to try and get them used up. So I'm going to start by showing you the paper. So I'll just get this stuff here out of the way. So just give me a sec to do that. Okay. So I also like to include scraps in my kits because I don't have a huge variety of papers, so I often have to include scraps, which is fine by me because then I use up some scraps and get rid of some papers. So okay, this is paper, but anyway, I'm gonna start with the cardstock and the A4 pieces. So I did include more cardstock and more A4 pieces than the minimum that I said I had to include. So my pieces of cardstock are this pink, like this fuchsia magenta sort of color, this bright green, and then a sort of pastel blue. So these two pieces are quite taller than a 12 by 12, and they're also shorter. So I'm presuming this chipboard here is 12 by 12. So as you can see, it's much taller, and it's slightly shorter than 12 by 12. So if I were to use these as backgrounds, I would have to cut them to 8.5 by 11 inch paper. So there's these three are my cardstocks, and these are the colors that my kit is based on. And I also included a lot of black in this kit here. Okay, so first up I have this vertical stripe. So I have multiples of these papers that I'm showing you now, which is why you'll see some scraps, and sometimes you'll see scraps and a full sheet, because the scraps might be a few and maybe small sizes. So first I'm going to try to use the scraps up and then cut another piece. So that is why there's both in there. Then I have, I think, 4 black patterns. So this is a geometric pattern, black and white. So it's like a sort of diagonal, oh my god, the diagonal pattern as well. So yeah, so there's this one. I'm hoping you can see this well. Okay, there's this gorgeous floral pattern here. So the one side, let's see if I can get you to see this, has these sort of glittery sequins stuff, as if you can see that. And then the other side is just regular paper with nothing on. So the reason I put this originally was because I really liked the pinks in it, and they match the cardstock, and the pinks go with all of these anyway. So I thought I could fussy cut these. But I could also use a chunk of it, because this blue does match some of the papers. That's going to be more difficult than just fussy cutting some flowers. So here's another black and white paper here. So this is a black and white diamond, I guess you could say. Then there's this yellow and pink diagonal stripe, which has 2 pieces here, as you can see. So that's also included. And I keep all of the same pattern. I just put a paper clip on top so I know what patterns, what size I already have, so I don't have to cut a new paper if I have an already cut paper. So anyway, this is a gingham pink and white pattern. So this was originally this size here, the size of this cardstock, and you can't see all of the cardstock, so I'm just going to move it over a bit. Okay, there you go. Yeah. So there's that paper, and then there's this black geometric paper, which is like a cut apart triangle, and the pieces are put together again, but not in the triangle shape, if you understand what that means. Anyway, it's a really cool pattern. I really like it. Then there's this green polka dot. So it's white with green polka dots, and then the back side is green with white polka dots. But I will most likely use this side because this green is way too much for this kit, I think. And then this also brings a brightness to the kit with all these blacks and darker blues. And then last but not least, for the A4 size paper, there is this mustache pattern here. Okay, so then more paper. So these are 2 corrugated sheets that are also included in the unusual things that I don't use. So I have a yellow mustardy paper here, which is not, it's a yellow orangey paper actually. It's more of an orange now that I see it better. But I like how it looks with the cardstocks here. So I am including it, and we'll see if I'm gonna use it or not. And then there's this white corrugated paper that I thought could add some brightness again to a layout, and also some nice texture as well as brightness. Of course, the other corrugated paper can add texture too. Okay, so I'm just gonna put these a bit closer together so I can fit all of the papers in the frame here. Okay. So then I went through 12 by 12 collection packs to find some more paper to include. So I found this music note paper here from a French company, which was, this was a collection pack, not a collection pack, it was a paper pack with some die cuts sort of, and it's from a French company, and the whole thing was music themed and it was all black and white. Then I went to the Fancy Pants Happy Place collection pack and found this origami paper that has some pinks. It's a darker shade. There's also some blues and yellows. And then the back side is this color that might work too. So I don't know, we'll see about that paper. Then from the Basic Gray Prism collection, I have this paper here, which is cut up. I don't think I've ever used it. I've just cut it up in a gazillion different sizes. And the back side is black. So even if I don't use the pattern, I'm sure it will be easy to use the black as a matte for a photo, considering that I have all of these black elements in the kit. So I'm going to leave it on this side though. Okay. Then I went into the Amy Tangerine Stitch collection. I found a bunch more black for some reason. I don't know why. Black and gray is what I found. So they're all scraps, so there's not any full pieces of paper. So this is what's left of a gray paper. There's a solid pattern with darker and lighter shades of gray. So then I have a grid pattern. It's black and white. I have a gray heart pattern. Then there's this black and white floral pattern, and again there's this white and black, I'm gonna say, pattern of this polka dot, which I love, and also it brings some more brightness again into some of the kits, and it's not so bold. Then there's this black and white text paper, which I really like, and then there's this gorgeous camera paper that I just cut up into pieces I've never actually used. I think maybe I used a tiny bit. So this gorgeous black paper, it's a camera paper sort of. And the cameras are in white, or maybe it's a lighter shade of gray, I'm not sure. So there's that too. And then I also have these 2 little pieces from this yellowy color that I thought might work, so I'm including those. And then I went into another paper pad, an A5 paper pad that is mostly florals, but had this pink polka dot, which I just pulled just some scraps. And I'm allowing myself to pull more of this paper into the kit if I see that I want to use it and don't have enough. Same goes for all of these patterns that I have duplicates of. And then there's also this paper here. It's just a stripe that has the pinks, the blues, the greens, but again, it's a little darker shades, so I don't know. And then last but not least, as far as paper goes, I have this, what is it called? Pink Diagonal Stripe, which came in the American Crafts Dots and Stripes 6x6 paper pad. So that's it for the paper. And then my pre-made background. So this isn't a background, but it's a big element that's going to go on the page. So it takes up quite a bit of a 12 by 12. See, so this is 11.5. And then that's how much it takes up. So I'm considering this as a background, but even if this doesn't count, there's 2 more here that would count. So then this one is just, I just had some leftover paint from my project and I just slapped it on here. And I really like how it looks like water. So this would be great for some summer pictures or some training pictures at the pool and things like that. So I'm going to slide this, okay, you can't really see it, so I'm going to put this on top. But anyway, and then this is another black element, which I'm probably going to cut apart, cut around and use as a doily sort of. So there's also that. Now for embellishments. Okay, so I ended up having quite a lot of unusual things that I don't use a lot. So one of them is this chipboard, which is this really thick chipboard that I've like the thick one that I've never used before. I've used the Project Life the waterfall pack sort of that are much thinner than this, but I've never actually used this. So I have this one is the confetti from the Confetti Collection by Maggie Holmes. And it just has the pinks, the blues, there's just some of this darker blue like in the flag in here, and there's